Welcome to the Political Bridge. I'm your host, Ada. Today we're diving into a huge question. It affects how we use our phones, what we buy online, and even what news we see. We're talking about the power of big tech companies. Think about the giants like Google, Apple, Amazon, and Meta. They have grown very large. They touch almost every part of our daily lives. Many people worry about their market dominance. They also worry about their pricing power. Should Congress step in? Should they regulate these companies more? Or should they even break them up? This is a complex issue. It has big effects on our economy and our freedom. We have Nico and Jordan here to help us understand it better. Let's get started.
Thank you, Ada. The idea of breaking up successful companies sounds good to some, but it often hurts consumers. Big tech companies got big because they offer great services. They innovate constantly. Think about how Amazon made shopping easier, or how Google organizes the world's information. These services save us time and money. Breaking them up would create smaller, weaker companies. They couldn't invest as much in new ideas. This means fewer choices for you. It means higher prices in the long run. It means less convenience. It would also make it harder for American companies to compete globally. Other countries aren't breaking up their tech leaders. We shouldn't punish success here. Congress should not regulate or break up large tech companies. Free markets work best. Let competition, not government, decide who wins.
Nico, that sounds nice in theory, but we're not talking about true free markets here. We're talking about monopolies. These companies have become so big, they stifle new businesses. They buy up smaller competitors, they copy their ideas, then they push them out of the market. This means fewer choices for you. It means higher prices. It means less innovation. Imagine a small app developer. They have a great idea, but a big tech company buys them out, or they crush them with a similar free product. That's not competition, that's control. Congress absolutely needs to regulate or break up large tech companies. We need to restore real competition. This protects consumers. It also helps small businesses thrive. It ensures a fair playing field for everyone. It's about economic justice.
Both of you make strong opening points. Nico, you emphasize the benefits of innovation and global competition. Jordan, you highlight the risks of monopolies and stifled competition. My first question is for both of you. How do you define market dominance? And at what point does it become a problem that requires government action? Nico, let's start with you.
Market dominance isn't a problem by itself. A company might have a large share of the market. But if they're still competing, that's fine. The issue is when they stop competing, when they stop innovating, when they can raise prices without fear. We haven't seen that with big tech. They're constantly fighting each other. Apple fights Google, Amazon fights Walmart. New startups emerge all the time. They challenge the big players. Look at TikTok. It came out of nowhere. It captured a huge audience. This shows that the market is dynamic. It's not locked down. If a company truly abuses its power, existing antitrust laws can handle it. We don't need new, broad laws. These would just slow down progress. They would hurt consumers. They would make our economy less strong.
Nico, I respectfully disagree. Market dominance becomes a problem when it prevents new companies from even getting started, when it allows one company to set the rules for an entire industry. That's what we see now. These companies control key platforms. They control app stores. They control search engines. They control online advertising. They can favor their own products. They can make it harder for others to succeed. This isn't just about price gouging. It's about control over information. It's about control over our digital lives. When a company has that much power, it's not a free market. It's a rigged game. Congress must step in. They must ensure that no single company has too much power. This protects our economy. It protects our democracy. It ensures fairness for everyone.
Okay, this is where we need to dig deeper. Nico, you argue that existing antitrust laws are enough. You say the market is dynamic. But how do you explain the many examples of big tech acquiring smaller rivals? This often happens before those rivals can truly compete. Jordan, you say these companies control key platforms. You say they can favor their own products. But how do you ensure that breaking them up won't just create less efficient, less innovative companies? This could hurt consumers with poorer services. These are crucial points. Nico, let's start with you on your weakest assumption.
Ada, the claim that existing antitrust laws are sufficient is not a weak assumption. It's a fact. We have laws to prevent monopolies. We have laws to stop anti-competitive behavior. If a merger is truly bad for competition, the government can block it. They have done so in the past. The issue isn't a lack of laws. It's how they're applied. Many acquisitions are good for innovation. They allow a small company to scale up. They bring new features to more people. Breaking up companies just because they're big is backward thinking. It would be like breaking up General Motors in the 1950s. It would hurt our economy. It would make us less competitive globally. We need to trust the market. We need to trust our existing legal framework. It's worked before.
Ada, my point about breaking up companies creating less efficient services isn't a weakness, it's a necessary step. The idea that bigger is always better for innovation is a myth. Many studies show that smaller, focused companies are often more nimble. They are more creative. They can respond faster to customer needs. When a company gets too big, it becomes slow. It becomes bureaucratic. Breaking up these giants could unleash a wave of new innovation. It would create new jobs. It would give consumers more choices. Think about the breakup of AT&T decades ago. It led to a boom in telecommunications. We saw new companies. We saw new technologies. We can see that again. We need to break up these companies. This will benefit everyone.
This stress test reveals a core tension. Nico, you believe in the power of existing laws and market forces. You see big companies as engines of progress. Jordan, you see their size as a barrier to true competition and innovation. You believe government intervention is necessary. This brings us to our closing thoughts. How do we balance these competing ideas? Nico, let's hear your final case.
The government's role should be to ensure fair rules, not to pick winners and losers, not to break up companies just because they're successful. When Congress tries to regulate or break up large tech companies, they risk doing more harm than good. They could stifle the very innovation that benefits us all. They could make our country less competitive. We need to remember that these companies provide services people love. They create jobs, they drive our economy forward. We should encourage their growth. We should not punish it. Let the market continue to work its magic. Let consumers choose the best products. That's how we ensure a strong, dynamic economy for everyone. Don't mess with success.
Nico, your argument assumes a perfect market. But that's not what we have. We have powerful companies. They use their size to crush competition. They limit consumer choice. They extract unfair prices. This isn't about punishing success. It's about protecting the future of our economy. It's about ensuring that the next great idea can actually get off the ground. When Congress acts to regulate or break up large tech companies, they're not just helping small businesses. They're helping every consumer. They're fostering real innovation. They're creating a more fair and just economic system. We need strong action now. We need to restore balance. We need to ensure that power is not concentrated in too few hands.
Jordan, while you speak of breaking up companies to unleash innovation, let's consider the practical implications and the global landscape. Take, for instance, the European Union's aggressive regulatory stance against American tech giants. Their approach, often driven by concerns similar to yours, has frequently resulted in massive fines and bureaucratic hurdles, but not necessarily a surge in European tech innovation that rivals the US. Instead, it often creates a fragmented digital market and disadvantages domestic companies trying to scale. A recent report by the European Center for Economic Research found that stringent digital regulations in Europe have actually slowed down the growth of local startups, making it harder for them to compete with established players, let alone global ones. If we hobble our own tech leaders, we risk ceding global leadership to nations like China, which are actively fostering their own tech champions without such internal constraints. Our focus should be on enabling, not dismantling, our economic powerhouses.
Nico, that's a false dilemma. The EU's regulatory approach, while imperfect, aims to address specific market failures, not just randomly penalize success. The goal isn't to create European tech champions by dismantling American ones, but to ensure fair competition and protect consumer data and privacy, which are often overlooked in the pursuit of unchecked growth. Furthermore, the argument that breaking up companies would cede global leadership is speculative. Consider the historical example of Standard Oil's breakup in the early 20th century. Far from weakening the American oil industry, it led to the creation of several independent, competitive companies that thrived and innovated, ultimately strengthening the overall sector and benefiting consumers with more choices and lower prices. The same principle applies here. Unleashing smaller, more agile entities from the shadow of a monolithic giant could foster a new era of American innovation, making us more resilient and competitive globally, not less. It's about distributing power, not destroying it.
And that brings us to the end of another thought-provoking discussion. Nico and Jordan, thank you both for sharing your insights on this critical topic. It's clear there are strong arguments on both sides. The balance between innovation, competition, and regulation is a tough one to strike. It affects us all. You can find more information and resources at tpbridgepod.com. Join us next time for another engaging discussion. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep bridging those political divides.